Hey, Alice. Thanks for joining us again this evening in the place where you always find me. I am very honored and esteemed to have the privilege of hosting the powerful, the eclectic Point Taken. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're glad to be on.
Yeah, we're here at celebrating a momentous occasion. This has been out for a while, actually, right?
Yeah, since last July, actually.
Was it last
Oh,
year?
okay.
I don't remember.
Well, late celebration.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Out now.
Here.
I have enjoyed this thoroughly. I've listened to it many times on my commute to and from work. And I've got a lot to say about that. But before that, why don't y'all introduce yourselves to Alice and what y'all do in the band?
Alice, I'm Noah. I play guitar and sing. I make really bad jokes, and I sweat a lot.
I'm Madden. I play trumpet. I sing sometimes. And yeah, that's about it.
I'm Colin, and I play guitar, and that's about it. The other guitar, the correct guitar, the correct way.
Listen,
with my
Jersey
right
Mike,
hand.
I don't want to hear it.
How do y'all get that guitar tone? And I don't actually know which one of you's tone I'm talking about right now.
I'll take this one, guys. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, all sorts of.
Yeah.
I think it's probably his tone, actually.
I am very fussy. I am very fussy about everything with guitar.
Well, whoever it is, I love the tone, like throughout the whole album. or EP.
It's both of us because
It
we
is.
have very different sounds. You're
Yeah.
you are very focused in the mid range, and I am much more wide range. What did you do for you did I was going to say Axifix, but no, it's not. It's the Helix.
No, I wasn't using the Helix. Well, I was using the Helix.
Oh, that's
but
right.
I
You
was-
using the Marshall.
I was using the Helix, actually ran through my Marshall, which is multi-effect processors. Line 6 is foot into modeling. And when we recorded it, I just had a Marshall JMC 2000 fucking cranked just hot in a room, and that was the more heavier distorted tones are mine, the cleaner, more driven tones are his.
I had a 64 Deluxe and a 2015 AC30 and just a bunch of pedals. Now, because I'm obsessed with it and I got him obsessed with it, we played through a Leslie amplifier on almost every single thing we were tracked. I don't remember what it started with, but we did it with one thing. It's like, that's cool. We should do that in this and then this. And I just bought one last week. So now I'm like fully riding in the obsession.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like day 2 of recording that was just y'all like cranking out guitar shit.
Yeah. We did most of that initial track in day 1. Day 2, we just came in and started making noise on guitar.
We
It's
just
the first thing.
layered upon layers of a lot of stuff, and that's when like
Good times.
Yeah.
Where'd y'all record that?
County Q out in Berry Hill with Weston Wellman,
yeah.
who also did y'all stuff with
He
Shiksa, right?
did a lot of
Also
the early
Shiksa
Shiksa stuff.
yeah.
Colin can never actually pronounce the name right. What do you call it?
Shiksa.
No. What did you just say?
Shit's
Yeah.
Every time.
But yeah, we got connected with him there, and like it was like Weston, of all the people we recorded with, like he's the one guy I trust when it comes to horn stuff. Like just getting the levels right and just getting them sounding good. Because like I've had like other people record, they're just like, yeah, we'll just slap one microphone onto all the horns, and you know they'll cut through. Y'all bounce. It's like, no, it doesn't really work like that. You need. I mean, it works for some things, but I feel like at least with here and any like point taken stuff, you got to have that. In order to have that refined sound, you got to be able to like really dial in on specific sounds and just adjust and tweak accordingly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anything with a horn section gets extra points from me. Like I love brass. I love saxophone. It's so cool.
It's fun, and yeah, and like that's kind of part of the draw for me, obviously as a horn player. But like I always like finding ways to fit brass or any horns into unconventional situations.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's Sidney.
Oh my god.
Where did you come from?
It is I.
It is.
Wow.
Whoa.
Cool.
No, did you do that? Did you make him apparate?
I did. With my mind
Holy
powers.
shit. That's impressive.
That's also what I do in the
exclusive
band.
to Sidney. You can only make Sidney.
I can only make him conjure up.
Yeah.
I can only get better guitar players than myself. That's why I got Colin here too.
Well, it's
Oh
only,
wait, no, that's not how that works.
Aw, that's so humble.
it's only because you know what the Batman signal is.
I do know what the Batman single is.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
No. Wait, are we talking 60s Batman? I have the first season and also the movie on DVD. You guys want to watch that sometime?
All right, Colin.
Fuck yeah, I want to watch that.
Glad we're
sometime.
Colin.
Thank you.
So on the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, we were talking about something.
Talking about
Solid.
beer.
Yes, here.
Yeah, I was just tangenting about the horns and just how they need to be micromanaged. Not our
agree.
horn section
I
as a
agree.
whole, but recording the horns.
Don't worry,
You need
anyone's
those
gonna
levels
micromanage it.
individually adjusted. And I think that's where we left off. I didn't have many other thoughts.
And then I
besides that.
conjured Sid Mays up.
And then, so yeah,
What you started saying? That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Nothing.
yeah,
He heard it.
there you go.
The way Card Door moves into the next track, what's that one called?
Out of my head.
Out
That's
of my
my
head.
favorite.
I love. It's not like it like bleeds into it, but I just love where that one stops and the next one starts. It's like, so the first time I heard it, I was like, I looked down like, oh, this is the next song. Like I didn't like. It could have kept going. It could have been a continuation of the same song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
do
was.
that live.
That
Like,
was-
we
Yeah.
bring it out and he comes in with the lead sound.
I love hearing that on records. It's one of my favorite things. Like
Yeah.
the first time I noticed it was Sum 41's All Killer No Filler. If you listen, almost every song almost ends and the next one starts. You hear it the whole time, and it's so cool, and I love it.
Do we have any weaves in the house? Weeboos?
mild weave.
I watched Inuyasha when I was in the 5th grade.
I watched
Nice.
season 1 of Attack on Titan.
My dad watched The Prince of Tennis. If you want to get really like
Whoa.
niche about that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. All right.
I'll call my
So
dad.
your
We
dad's
can
a
work
bigger
with this.
weave than you.
Yeah, I'll call my dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Dad, we need you to be
Actually-
on this podcast.
I'm done with you guys. Can you just bring your dad?
Yeah.
Mr. Noah's dad. That's Eric Rogers, attorney
He's a
at law,
lawyer.
LLC.
The reason I ask is here reminds me of like mostly Car Door, but kind of the whole EP reminds me of like 90s racing anime. I don't know how it just makes me feel like
So
that.
I can.
All right,
I can-
that's our
I
new
can
genre.
feel that, like,
Fully decided upon.
because I can also say from like, because how we met is I played saxophone for a ska band with them. They were looking for a horn player, and I was like, I'm not doing anything else right now. So I started by playing. That's how I met them, was playing saxophone in a ska band, and even then, just like high energy and fun. And I feel like between their writing and like especially Noah's front manning everything, it's just high energy and fun.
Yeah.
It's just a blast just to do.
A lot of those anime openings
Yeah.
are like the ska jazz
Oh,
thing.
dude, they're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hype. They're
Yeah.
so hype.
It is. And that's what the record feels like. It's like in Carter, you're like slow down. I'm like, I literally can't. Like I'm speeding.
I love that.
I'm gonna get pulled over.
Nice.
And then it'll be y'all's fault.
Yeah,
It's
heck
fine.
yeah.
I'll give you the address you can forward the tickets to.
Okay.
Care of Noah Rogers, Point Taken,
Yeah,
PO
can you
Box
just drop your address?
1376.
Yeah. Here's our exact coordinates. That's interesting you say that though. I feel like we get a lot of like comments on like what our music is like. Cause like on the lyric video for Out of My Head, which is on YouTube, plug. One of the comments is he's like, this sounds like 80s sitcom rock.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
I can
that's
dig it.
different, but I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
If you like, as long as do you like 80s sitcom rock? Like,
I didn't realize it was a genre until you said it, but yes. It
yeah,
is.
yeah. So,
We also get called shoegaze ska.
oh
which
yeah,
is-
we got that.
Uh,
Shoegaze
half of that
ska.
sentence is pretty cool.
I kind of like shoegaze.
Is calling a band shoegaze just mean that they're like good at their instruments?
It
Is
means
that
I
what-
have 1,000 pedals that I'm
Oh,
staring at
I'll
all
see,
night.
yeah.
I don't know. I've
And
heard
then the
it's
ska is
both.
like they see horns and they're like,
Oh,
oh,
it's
it must
ska.
be a ska band.
Yeah.
Which
I
that's
used-
a whole another tangent I can go.
I
on.
listened to Real Big Fish in the 1990s.
Yeah. I played trumpet in middle school, but I wasn't really good. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for telling me that. Glad you came out. I if I had like a dollar for every time I heard that.
You want to buy some merch now?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
if they gave you $1, you could sell the merch.
So
We
much.
got guitar picks for sale.
We got guitar
Yeah.
picks for sale.
And
Oh,
stickers.
man, we should have brought the merch box, and I could have done like a QVC style thing. I'm like, if you call right now, we'll double the offer.
You're dressed for it.
Hi, Billy Mays here.
He's actually my cousin.
Really?
Oh, I don't
No,
think he
no.
is.
Okay.
Dude,
But the
you
last
had
name,
me. You
Same,
had
same.
me.
I was like,
yeah, the
Oh.
last name clicked. I'm like,
Big
Oh my
emphasis.
god! I didn't know I was in the presence.
Yeah,
of royalty.
I'm still not over his death.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You're saying what we're all thinking.
Oh man.
That's like, I mean, it's like, oh, your name's Madden. Like,
The presence of royalty.
your parents must really like football. Are you related to John Madden? No, it's my middle name, not my last name.
What's it like having a video game series named after?
Oh my god. Sometimes I'm on Reddit and like I'll just be reading through comments on like the gaming subreddit and someone's like, Madden really sucks this year. And I'm like, what did I do? And then I'm like, oh wait, they're actually like talking about the video game.
and then sometimes they're actually talking.
And
about
then
how much
sometimes
suck
they are
this year.
talking about me. Yeah. And yeah, that's also kind of hurtful, but it's yeah.
So what's next for you guys? Writing music?
Yeah, so we're starting a little bit of writing. We're about to drop a new single. We just got the masters back yesterday.
Sick.
Nice.
It's called Breathe. And yeah, we're gonna be cranking out probably a lyric video for that. We kind of want to do a music video, but it's hard coordinating like 7 or 8 or how many people are in our band now to get together for a shoot. So that'll probably be dropping first this summer. But I know these guys, they got together last Thursday.
Couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks
Right,
ago.
Couple weeks. No, y'all got together on
Oh no, we got
Friday.
together on Friday.
Yeah.
To actually cut.
Dude,
the
that was
demo.
almost. a
Yeah,
week ago. I
so we're
don't
starting to
remember.
cut some demos. I've hacked out a few on just using Garage Band and kind of like a little bit about our process is usually one of us will come up with like a scaffold of a song. And then it kind of makes its rounds through the band. So like, for example, like I'll write something and I'll get in touch with this guy and be like, hey, go do guitar stuff with it. And he's like, okay, I'll do guitar stuff. And then he gets with Colin and Corin, our bass player. They hack out stuff. And then once they have that skeleton, like it usually goes back to me or Zach, who's one of our sax players. He's actually taken up, but we'll like write horns over it. And then we'll just bring it all together in the rehearsal space. And so we're kind of in the early stages of that. I think we got about like 5 or 6 songs that we are trying to
Basic
work through.
structures.
Basic
We
structure.
gotta actually do something
We've
with it
got
all.
one pretty much we know what's going to be going on with it, and then a few other we haven't
Yeah.
really started messing with
And
a
like-
lot yet.
We got a few covered. We've got 1 or 2 covers. So
Hmm,
that will be
interesting.
We're gonna keep those secret because it's a surprise.
It's okay. Alice doesn't talk to anybody.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it's called. No, I'm just kidding.
Got him.
If that's the case.
I can't believe that worked.
All right, let me
damn
tell
it.
you about the time I killed a man.
That's actually the content of the next EP or whatever the fuck we work
Yeah.
on.
What, me killing a
Yeah,
man?
it's the songs. It's like Phil Collins in the air tonight.
Oh.
He's watching a man.
Yeah, it's
drown.
called OJ's in the air tonight.
He's not anymore.
Hey, you know what? Rest,
Yeah,
Yo,
okay.
rest in peace, King. Did nothing wrong.
man. You know what? I bet
Yo, free OG.
I bet that he
Free my boy.
I bet he can definitely rest well now, knowing that
I was
Anna
wondering
Nicole
about
and
this.
Ron Goldman's killer is dead.
Yeah. Nice. Oh man. Yeah, that was a huge loss for us all.
Yeah.
It's a huge
It
loss
is.
for defense attorneys everywhere.
Yeah. It's
Was your dad?
OJ's. Yeah.
No, we watched The Naked Gun the day it happened. And I'm going to use the word honor, but if it's about OJ, we're not talking about honor. But I watched him get shot in that movie, and I'm like, oh, nice. That should have happened years ago.
Oh man. Fulfilling dreams here.
I just can't stop thinking about the Kardashians. They must be taking it pretty hard.
It's like I can't stop. Help!
Oh God.
There's a show that could help.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's called
It's Keeping Up.
with the
Yeah, I
Kardashians.
really need to keep up with them.
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
saw-
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I saw a picture of Khloe Kardashian. I think that was the one, and the mom, whatever the mom's name is. And it was it said the bloodline is secured, Reverend Mother.
Oh my God.
That's some Dune memes for you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've not seen Dune.
It's I'm a big Dooner.
You're a Dooner?
I'm a Gooner too.
Hell yeah.
Dooner,
We do
Gooner.
that.
Did you get the Dune popcorn bucket so you could
No.
Dune to Dune? Okay.
No, they like sold out like within a couple.
Everybody,
days.
every other degenerate was already there.
Yeah.
Dune generate.
Dune,
Yeah.
Dune
Yeah,
generate.
there you go.
I guess we're really doing this.
Yeah.
Let's start this way. What music was in the house when you were a kid? Like, what did your parents listen to?
Like
Yeah.
we're about to get a trauma dump.
You know,
That
Was it-
mild
the,
stare.
for the most part, my parents really just listened to the radio. But like a couple of things that stand out is like my mom got me hooked on Aerosmith. Like I'm
Oh yeah.
like all of my like, and I hate to say this, but all of like me wanting to play music came from fucking classic rock, like in middle school and
My
high
mom-
school.
Same.
My mom got me hooked on heroin.
Amazing.
All right, this is now
But-
therapy, and that will be $80
And then-
for the next hour.
Sure.
And then my dad just listened to a lot of hip hop. If he was picking music and it wasn't just I'm just gonna throw it on the radio station, like those were the two things.
Nice.
I'm like not the only, but the first one to like, I don't know, I feel like dive into music, like especially listening, just enjoying music. Because for the most part, even still, it's just whatever's on the radio. They'll be like, "Hey, this is what we're listening to."
What have you been listening to in like the last week?
So I am a big old metalhead.
Okay.
So a lot of Periphery, a
Hell
fair
yeah.
bit of Veil of Maya,
Yeah,
and
dude.
then hell yeah, those guys are crazy. And then there's a hardcore band called Alpha Wolf, and then I used to like also really like pop punk. So every now and then, especially frustrated at work, I'll just throw in some old pop punk to sing along with and try not to get pissed off. But yeah, for the most part.
Good answers. I'd say for me, it's so my mom, this isn't really an influence on me now, but she's obsessed with George Strait, that country singer. So like I used to like when I was a kid, I was in the Cowboys and shit. So I was all about that. But honestly, like my dad, despite not being a musician himself, was probably a really big influence on the music I listened to growing up because he'd do like, the Eagles. He got me into Genesis when I was growing up.
Kyle Genesis.
Rest in peace. One thing we do still do. So one band we did listen to growing up a lot is the Zombies. Like Time of the Season and stuff like that. Because we used, like one of our favorite movies was The Life Aquatic, and they did a lot of. There was a few zombie songs in that, but we still go see the Zombies every time they come into Nashville. And actually, I was on Facebook today, and I realized I made a post 10 years ago, and I saw the Zombies. They're in town. So that's my hoodie is Zombies. I'm wearing a Zombies hoodie today.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're dope.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you're good. So there was a lot of that from my dad. I'm trying to think of what. Yeah, mainly Genesis. Like one specific song was "I Know What I Like," (parentheses in your wardrobe), by Genesis that I really fuck with still, and that's like a core childhood song. But yeah. So that's mainly the stuff I grew up listening to.
What have you been listening to recently?
Recently, I've been kind of on a mixed bag. I'm trying to think. Honestly, like the past couple months, and it's kind of bled over into recently, but not too much. But I really got into Cake, which
Oh, yeah.
you think like
Hell yeah.
as a trumpet player, it's
All
like
time.
That
that's
should be your
staple.
favorite.
But I didn't actually start listening to them until like October of last
I
year.
wish I would have known that. I would have shown you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
like
man.
I knew they did the cover. I knew the distance, and I knew I Will Survive. I was like, I gotta try.
Ooh, they do one Guitar Man by Brett that is amazing.
I'll check that out. But like, that's something I've been really getting, and I kind of like, yeah, like I just love the solo trumpet in that, and just the keys work as well. So I've been getting into Cake, and yeah, that's the main one. I can't think of really any. There's been a spattering of other things. Gosh, I don't know. Now I've been thinking about it, but now that I've been asked, I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cake is the main one that's been like my drive. And like in October, I lost my job, and like for some reason, like I Will Survive by Cake was like my I Will Fight God song, and it just got me so like irrationally pumped up through all of that. So yeah, I've just been vibing on Cake.
What would be your weapon of choice if you were to fight God? A trumpet.
Yeah, trumpet.
Take that.
I don't know, man. I've heard something about the trumpet sound from that guy. I think he's got you beat in the trumpet department.
Yeah, God could probably out trumpet me. I'd probably,
Doubtful.
yeah. Oh, thank you. I'd probably go with like an enchanted sword
Nice.
if I could get one of those, and if not, I'd probably just go with an AR-15.
King Arthur, look at King Arthur over here.
That's good.
You can't go wrong with that. But
It's usually a solid pick.
yeah,
No matter who you're fighting.
yeah, yeah.
Noah, what you grew up with?
So my earliest memories of music are sitting in the backseat of a car with B-52's cassettes. Like my earliest memories, I can distinctively hear Rock Lobster clearly. But then like my dad was super into 80s new wave stuff. My mom and my grandmother are the two biggest Elvis fans that there have ever been. So I kind of met in the middle. I got super into classic rock because when I was 13, I was riding the bus home and a buddy of mine said, put in these. And he played me Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. And I heard that whole thing come in and I just got off and went, I'm going to play the guitar. That's what I want to do now. So a lot of that. And then one of our favorite movies, The Blues Brothers, made me get super into old R&B music, all of it. Good stuff. And then he also made me play in a ska band, which made me tolerate ska.
You scotted a little bit.
I
Boss Tones. You said you like the
do
Boss
love the
Tones.
Boss
Yeah.
Tones. I do love the Boss Tones.
Boss Tones, less than Jay.
I love ska. I think ska's a good genre.
Yeah, I enjoy ska too, for what it is.
I just feel like a poser just because like I like the big ska bands
Well,
that everybody
yeah, me
else
too.
likes.
I don't
And
know
once I
some
go
stuff.
past that, like sometimes it just gets a little too samesies for me on stuff.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
no, we talked
Okay.
about it. I have found I love second wave stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of
Second
that late 70s stuff, a lot of the dub stuff that came out.
That's
Really cool.
That stuff is
The
really
third
cool.
wave stuff in the 90s is really
I think,
good. And then
yeah.
it kind of burned out. Plus, like being in a ska band for 5 years, it kind of burned me out on it. I was Hawaiian shirt ska frontman. So if anyone did it, it was me.
Yeah. I think the thing with like newer ska bands is, I mean, ska as a genre has such a rich history. Like, and like that's not a bit, so don't laugh. But no, like I mean, it's a lot of people are like, oh, ska's like reggae. Well, reggae came after ska. Like reggae is an offshoot of ska. A lot of people don't realize that, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it has a rich history of like meshing like American jazz with like island calypso music in the 50s, and then of course during the two-tone period, the second wave, I think, not a ska aficionado, but like the two-tone, just unity amongst the working class between blacks and whites, like all that history. And then like the thing that bugs me with like newer ska bands, and this isn't every new ska band, but like, you know, you're the ska band that plays in their mom's garage and they sing about mozzarella sticks and parties. It's like you're just diluting the whole genre. So like that's my angle on like newer. Not every ska band is like
Man,
that.
it's hot takes tonight.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. They're kind of like a parody of themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. And like, as much as I love the trumpet playing in Real Big Fish, I blame them for it, because that's like the people, like when you say ska, they're like, oh, Real Big Fish, you know, basketball, mozzarella. And there's that fucking meme that I get sent like every month where it's like, I imagine ska is what plays in a 13-year-old's head when they get extra mozzarella sticks.
Also,
Oh,
Tony
yeah,
Hawk's
for
Pro
sure.
Skater.
And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And it's
so
like,
much Tony.
and like
Pro
those are
Skater.
that stuff's funny, and that music is fun to listen to. It's good summer driving music. But if you're talking about like, again, like the history of the genre as a whole, like you said, it's like a parody of it.
I didn't know about all that.
Yeah.
I gotta go back.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got a
Fun fact that y'all would appreciate. Y'all know who was in a ska band before they got super big in the 80s?
I was gonna say Gwen Stefani in No Doubt, but I don't think that's
I was gonna
it.
say the Reverend from Avenged
The
Sevenfold.
two-piece that we love.
Really? No,
Did you
Tears
not?
for Fears was a ska band?
Check it out. It was
Oh,
Kurt and
no.
Roland was in a band. It was called Graduate. They had a hit in Spain of all places. It was called Elvis Should Play Ska.
Thank
You
you.
ever heard
I don't know.
No, but I know what I'm probably gonna hear on the drive home or right now.
That's the interesting thing about ska is like, for as obscure as the genre it was, you can like trace back so many people Like Gwen Stefani is the most obvious. Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy was in a ska band.
He was in a ska band?
He was a drummer in a ska band. I don't know what it was called. Oscar Isaacs, the guy who played Poe Dameron in the Star Wars movies, he was the frontman of a ska band called Blinking Underdogs, and they opened for Green Day in like the 90s. Let's see who else I can just pull out of my ass.
That's a pretty neat magic trick.
Yeah, exactly. Ska musicians.
Who's next?
It's
the-
always fun.
They're full of
No one's
magic
no
tricks.
one's mad about hearing ska.
Yeah.
Ever. They may not be like, yeah, but they're not like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck is this? Yeah, like no
Yeah.
one's ever mad about it.
This was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Like the Reverend from Avenged Sevenfold was the drummer in Suburban Legends.
Yeah.
He was their original drummer, as well as their bass player. I don't know who Avenged Sevenfold's bass player is. But
Johnny Christ.
yeah, I don't think he went by that in Suburban Legends.
Probably not, but he does in Avenged
Um,
Sevenfold.
Yeah.
So funny that you know that.
Wait, are you serious? I thought you was kidding.
No, I
What's his
mean,
name?
I will die on this hill. Avenged Sevenfold's Up to Nightmare and cut out their first albums down in the Seventh Trumpet because they're just a shitty hardcore band from the West Coast. From Wake in the Fall into Nightmare, beautiful records.
Yeah.
They're all great. They're all fantastic. Great guitar work. The Rev's a hell of a drummer. Then Mike Portnoy obviously kills it on Nightmare. But
You heard their
They're
newest
so
one?
iconic.
what?
You heard their newest one? The newest record?
I haven't listened to anything after Nightmare. They got when they came out with like they had that stint where it just felt like they were doing the like Five Finger Death Punch thing and being like bro metal. I was like, all right, I'm done. For it. I don't want to. It just seems too. I don't know. It seems they're pandering. Like they're there for a little bit. I don't know if they still are, but there for a little bit. I feel like they're just fucking pandering.
The other night driving home, I had the urge to listen to Beast in the Harlot for some reason, so I just
The
like
City of
blasted
Evils,
it.
The whole
Yeah,
album's great.
Backcountry. I want to do like a. This is gonna be the nerdiest thing. Well, probably not the nerdiest thing. I want to do like a brass cover of Backcountry.
What a nerd.
I know how to play Backcountry. It's one of the covers that I know. So we could just
Nice.
shit it
Let's
out if
just
you
let's
want.
do it. Point
Oh,
taken.
You need to
Can't
work on
you
your
help me as I'm starting to burn?
being able to play metal thing.
Whoa, I could fake it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Actually, that was
I
just
think
a.
it'd be fun.
That was a
No,
pipe
dude, now
dream.
someone else is gonna take the idea.
That's all right. Take it. Take it.
Shit.
Take it. Take it.
Don't play with us though.
Yeah.
Try to take credit for it.
1980. That's
Oh my
Roland.
gosh, that is the most ska band cover I've ever seen in my
That's-
life.
That's Kurt. That's Roland. They were super, super young.
Look at that.
This was before they quit.
Ska.
This was a hit in Spain in like 1980. They
Yeah.
said they were tired of touring so much, and Kurt said, like, can't we just sit at home and just make good records?
They did a pretty good job
So
with that.
That's kind of like our origin story too. I don't know.
Okay.
without the touring and shit.
Yeah, we didn't do the touring or have
We-
a hit in Spain.
We are just like, what if we were good?
Hey, what if we took this seriously?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know,
that's-
we did almost get jumped in New York. So
We did almost get jumped in New
Really?
York. Yeah.
all because of our trombone player.
Kyle, if you're listening to this, we're about to throw you under the bus.
Y'all
We were-
almost got jumped.
We were in
Almost. We can laugh
Buffalo.
about this because no one's dead.
We were in Buffalo playing a house show because we did go on like a few like little DIY stints a few times.
Yeah.
And we were in Buffalo playing a house show, and our trombone player was in the backyard, and there was a lot of drug.
It was a
dealing
bad
going on
neighborhood. It was a
immediately
bad
around us.
neighborhood.
Like 13-year-old standing on a street corner, someone come up and talk to him. 13-year-old run inside the house, run back out, go talk, like know what's going on. Well, Kyle decided, let me just sit and like zone out while staring at them in their backyard. And our bass player Trent, at that point in time, the dude started yelling at Kyle, being like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah.
And our bass player had to step in and be like, "No, we're good," and like grab Kyle and be like, "No, let's go."
My favorite part of that story is like our drummer going out to Trent, our bass player at the time, and Trent is just like, I'm about to have to fight all these people by myself. It's just like the confidence behind the statement. Just like, yeah, thankfully that
That's so
turned
funny.
out all right. And yeah.
Dude, all trombone players just lose confidence, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
we'll say he
You got
does
to.
lose
You
confidence.
got to.
yeah. Oh baby cow.
I don't think we talked about what you've been listening to recently.
Oh yeah, we kind of just went over.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So like I've been been super into Roy Buchanan for like the last year.
Dude,
My man,
yes.
I have bought now like 6 of his vinyls. I have listened to his stuff over and over, just trying to figure out what those little things he does in his playing are, because it's so cool and it's so crazy. Just these ever so slight things. The other thing I'm super into right now is this violin player, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Jean-Luc Ponty, right? I sent you that the other day. I sent it to you and Corwin.
Yeah.
It's just this really cool, like it's just this instrumental thing, and all of a sudden you have this wild keyboard solo, and this wild guitar solo, and then this super cool violin thing, and it's awesome.
He was the Jimi Hendrix of violin.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I definitely I jam with that.
That's pretty cool.
Let's maybe not play more music on the episode.
And the other one
But
that I've been
afterwards, yeah.
the other one I've listened to a bunch,
I
and
just
you guys
don't-
already know what
We
it
might
is.
we might get in trouble for that. So
The F word.
Focus.
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 But if it's
Who-
less than 2 seconds,
you play 2 seconds of a song.
Yeah, did you guys
Yeah.
like that?
Oh, dude, that fucking slaps.
Yeah, that's the best thing I've heard.
Holy shit, that was good.
all right, y'all ready? You ready?
Oh,
I
wait, hold on.
honestly don't see what you guys are seeing.
Oh yeah, it has
My
a long
heart
fade
skipped a
in.
beat. Oh man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Ponty.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Ponty. Okay,
That's how I don't.
Jean-Luc Picard.
John, I also have been fighting to not
Yeah.
slip that one out when I
Yeah.
say his name. No, man, guy's crazy. I need to get that album on vinyl. I love it. And also Focus, which is
Yeah.
my favorite band, who I want to see so bad, but the tickets are $400, and it's the only time that they have been in the States in the time that I have known them since 2014.
Who is it?
Focus. They did Hocus Pocus.
They are a
Oh yeah.
Baby Driver.
they
Baby
are,
Driver.
Yeah.
That would have been much easier than doing the impression.
The whole yo.
I really
I'm
wanted
glad
to
you
do
did.
it.
They
I
are
I'm glad you did.
proggiest prog band in the world.
without
That's coming
being
from
a prog
dirty
band.
prog kid.
Yeah.
I love
They are-
Prague.
They're so good.
Speaking of Prague, do you see Thank You Scientist's vocalist quit?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
see
he
that.
quit.
That sucks.
Oh,
quit
dude, does
back
that
in
mean I
the-
can quit this band and find a better one to be in?
No.
Probably not.
True. I won't be able to.
Not
make
not in the middle of this podcast.
it. Hey,
You're
thank
gonna
you,
hear it
scientists. Reach out to me.
Alex was just like, okay, that was point taken.
My friend showed me that band recently.
They're so
They're
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Wow.
They are really good.
That is like a fair bit of like modern inspiration. Like that's the vibe I want to have with what
Yeah.
we do.
My deal with Thank You Scientist and like prog music as a whole, and this is another spicy take of mine, is I feel like sometimes I'm not listening to music, I'm listening to a musician doing a technical exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the talent is there, but there's not the passion.
Yeah, but then Thank You Scientist throws in like crazy jazz
Sometimes.
infusion.
Like when they do that, it's
Yeah.
great.
I agree with you about like as the genre as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
And I just like I just that's true. I just fall for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
I love
same.
it.
Like
just like
I
it.
do love listening to it because I'm like, damn, that like it does take talent to do what these
And
musicians
that's it.
do.
I love talent.
Yes.
I love like masters of their craft. Just
Yes.
like doing their thing. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like the pinnacle. It's like that person is like just doing this because they have to.
Yeah.
Like you're beyond a point of having fun. You were like a monster.
Yeah.
It's like Sidney, like you play all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it shows
Very
like
true.
you're a fucking god, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like but
Just trying to keep up with this dude.
Disagree.
Hey.
He's seen us. No, you've seen us
I was
twice.
here.
The first time he saw us was the worst show we ever did.
Where was
So
that at?
that first Cobra gig we did in
Well, that was
December
our
of
first
22.
show.
That was our first show, and it was probably one of the worst ones.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he like loved it and like recommended people. Like, wow, imagine what he'll think when we're actually playing
That's
good.
You've
stuff.
probably been telling me about Point Taken since December. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
We are
what y'all do.
way
It's
tighter
different.
than-
Yeah, we were very, very rough. Very rough.
Yeah.
I hear what it's supposed to sound like. I'm like, yeah.
He
Yeah.
gets the concept. He didn't
Yeah.
hear the execution. He heard the concept.
Saw the horns up there and
Like, oh, dude, my favorite ska band.
Yeah.
No, we're not ska. We're not ska.
Ska rock. Sorry.
Just yell it into the microphone.
You guys want to stop him?
Though we are leaning into that because we know a lot of people who are still in ska bands from our previous life. And we're like, hey, y'all want to play with us? And it's like, if you can get us a show, like we're trying to get a bill together of a band from Chicago, which, that'd be cool. Like we just scratch their backs while they're here, and then we can go up to Chicago and they can get us a show.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
We don't have
exactly.
to cold call everybody and be like, hey,
Yeah.
you've never met us. We've never played in your city before, but will you please put us on a
Yeah,
bill, please?
exactly.
Sit for hours
And
on
like,
Facebook shooting
yeah,
messages.
that shit's
Getting ghosted all of the time. All of the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't envy it. Like, I'm a poet and I'm working on a fantasy novel right now.
Oh,
and, like,
nice.
Nice.
everything I do, like nothing I do is collaborative.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm kind of a diva, like about my shit.
No.
So like all
that's
these,
nice.
like I know these bands. I'm like, how do you guys do this? Like is collaborating hard for you guys? Do you ever like I don't like that.
Honestly,
Yes and no.
It can be, but I feel like we've, like,
We middle ground things
we've
pretty
middled it,
well.
Yeah.
and
And
fair. I had to break you on let me play a 7-string.
Yeah,
I had to
he
break you
he
pretty
walks
hard.
in when we lived together. He's like, "No, I got this 7-string," and absolutely no facial response. Just okay. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Why?
Now, to be
That's
fair,
funny.
to be a little fair, he was like, "Yeah, we could write this for it," and he would just go to play the most metal riff there is. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna fit, but okay."
Yeah. And I think the most challenging thing as the horn player is sometimes just having to put my foot down and be like, y'all, this needs a horn line here.
No, it doesn't.
It's like,
Nerd.
that's how it goes in rehearsal.
Noah and I worked up this cool harmonizing thing. We should
yeah,
win still.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, I listened to the Allman Brothers last night, and now I'm doing
I
it.
like that layering you did, but have you considered? But no, but like having you being a horn player and like you have worked with me specifically for like
Yeah.
almost 10 years at this point.
We've known each other long enough. We know how to
Like,
ride
we can
around
work
with each other.
off of each other pretty well, and you like having horns. I think
I
if
do.
you were a guitar player that hated horns, this outfit would not.
Yeah,
work.
I spent all of my
Yeah, it'd be
time
kinda
in.
hard.
yeah,
I spent all
yeah.
my time in 3-piece bands and started getting worn out on like, oh, I'm the only like instrument that is doing melody. Oh, this is a lot. I have to always be on. And then when we had horns in Roto, but I was the only guitar player, it's a similar thing. But now I have another guitar player. So when it's
Yeah.
wrong, he can be blamed for it.
Yeah. So it definitely is a balance sometimes, and like, one of us will be kind of assertive as like, okay, we need this here at this specific part. Like it's not like, so we're not just playing over each other all the time. Which I think that was something we did do at that first show.
Really?
Yeah, there, and I think like with Strangers specifically,
Yeah.
they were like, I don't think we'd even rehearsed.
Oh,
that as
yeah.
a
No,
band.
we didn't rehearse the whole thing as a band.
And so we got up there and like, I remember the second verse, like the horn, like that you can hear in the recording, like, that was going, and then you were doing some weird like,
Yeah, that was when we were trying out this like core when our bass player had written this thing. He's like, this would sound really cool over that.
yeah.
And I never figured out how to lock it in. And I still
It
have no
sounded
idea
cool,
what he
but
was
when I
talking
watched the
about.
video back, I was like, I'm having a
Just
stroke.
too many things happening.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest challenge with us as a band is like we're all solid musicians and we all have great ideas. And it's a matter of just not putting too much.
Putting them all together at the same time.
Yeah,
Not just
exactly.
be a bunch of noise going on all at once.
We got to all have the biggest egos and play louder than everyone else at the
Yes.
same
I,
time.
I love that because some bands, it's like one person makes the structure and just kind of like delegates parts.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of projects like that. That's not really like a wrong way to do it either. I just think it's really cool that you guys write collaboratively.
Yeah.
Well, like, I want to make sure whenever like we do this that everyone feels like this is all of our band. It's not like we're writing stuff, everyone else is just going to show up and play their part,
yeah.
and that's it. Like everyone is in this band and should have a say in how the music should sound.
Yeah.
Right.
The instrumental on the EP was written by our bass player on an acoustic guitar and open A, and then we just sat down and got together and figured out.
Yeah,
how to
that
beat
was
literally
everything
hacked
with
That was
Out in the
really
studio.
frustrating. That was really frustrating taking something in an open tune like,
Yeah, there's
How
some
does that go?
silly like finger twisters in it that
Yeah.
I still can't play right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just hire a violinist.
All right, that's 2 seconds. What is this?
this is Jean-Luc Ponty or Jean, however,
I
that
don't
guy.
know.
Just
This
Jean-Luc
is-
Picard.
This is what happens when we do the instrumental. My fingers get knotted up.
Wait, that was 1.5 seconds. I gotta milk it. I had to get it.
Copyright strike.
Yeah,
Dude,
thanks,
dude.
Sidney.
They're gonna start kicking down our door right now.
Copyright police, open up.
This is the fence. Tear it down.
I'm
Never
in
made me
danger.
lie.
Speaking of milking, Colin.
Speaking of milking,
I was sorry. I was thinking, but no, you fucking texted me yesterday, and you're like, "Isn't a milkshake just a watered down?"
Milkshakes are watered down ice cream.
And I texted back, and I was like,
Milky down.
"That's yeah." I was like, "There's no water in it,"
He didn't-
and he just texted down milked down.
Actually, if you think about it, theoretically, they use ice when they make ice cream, so there is water in it.
The ice is not in.
That's
the
a
ice cream,
frap.
it's
No,
used to-
no,
That's
ice
a
is
frap.
used in making ice cream.
That's a frap.
Ice is used in making ice
No.
cream.
Ice.
I
The
watched.
ice
it
is used in
I
making ice
watched the
cream.
History
It's cold.
Channel's Foods That Built America, and it explained the process of making ice
They don't
cream.
put the ice
Yes,
in,
they
in
do.
the ice
Yes, they
cream.
do. Look it up.
They don't.
No.
They use ice and rock salt, and it's basically.
You know what? I'm joining
boiled
Thank You
custard.
Scientists.
Oh my
I'm not doing this anymore.
This man's over.
If you can get a gig with Thank You Scientists, you should do that. As
Oh,
your friend.
100%.
Nice.
Now that we
Yeah.
had that little
Yeah.
spat about ice cream,
Sorry, we just had to get that out.
This is good content.
yeah, been really tense this whole time about it. Now we can really loosen up.
Yeah.
Just kind of been hanging in the air.
Yeah, in case
Now
anyone's
that-
felt the
that's-
tension going
Yeah,
I
on.
did when I walked in. I was like, golly.
All right, I love you guys.
They,
You're okay at best.
they all have different ideas about how ice cream is made. I can feel
I'm
it.
going to look this up because I am almost
The air,
certain.
the
of
air
it.
is so thick, like ice cream.
It's like, which has ice
We
in
need
it.
to milk it
Yeah.
down.
It needs to be milked down
Like a shake consistency.
because that's what's used to make milk.
What did you text me today?
What did I text you?
Puerto Rico. Tell them about it.
No,
No, tell them about
you
it.
tell him.
I
I'm not gonna
will.
repeat
Where's
that.
my phone? I am reading his text to me because I guess he thought he had a good response, which he actually did. Let's see, man. Out of nowhere today at 3:56, I get a text that says, "What if Puerto Rico was called Puerto Frico and everyone there sucked toes?" You've been outed.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
It was.
I love this as like as a quandary. Like, what if?
What if?
Like, no, I need an answer.
Yeah.
What would
I
it
guess
be
it'd be
like?
kind of cool.
Yeah. Guys, we
Kinda
should book a
Puerto
show.
Rico.
We should
Puerto
book a
Rico.
tour to Puerto Rico.
We should do a tour in Puerto Rico and call the whole tour Puerto Rico.
I feel like
I
we
love
get
it.
kicked off the island.
We would probably get in trouble.
Let's do it.
It's
Let's
all
do
like xenophobic songs about how Puerto Ricans suck toes.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Dude, what if everyone there's cool with it though?
Everyone,
Well,
put your
then-
toes up in the air.
Toes up.
Toes up.
I was gonna say it would either be a bust or you would completely sell out.
Toes up for point taken. Let's go.
Toes up. The point taken.
You find out that there is a growing subculture of toe sucking. in Puerto
First
Rico.
off, if
I think
anyone
there's
has
just
the
a-
internet,
there's
you
a-
know there is.
There's a growing culture of toe sucking everywhere.
It's becoming
That's fair.
slowly
That's
culturally
fair.
accepted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. This is an epidemic facing our society.
Toe sucking.
No, man, that's the thing. Everyone makes memes about things now, and eventually it just becomes cool again. Right? I have noticed
Was
that.
toe sucking ever not cool? Was
Yeah.
it ever?
Shut up, Colin.
I never got the memo.
On a slight offshoot, you know the reason why
Toe
psychologists
sucking is cool.
No, the reason why psychologists think foot fetishes are well, there's two different theories. One is like it's something in the brain wiring where like sensation in the feet is close to where sexual arousal is in the brain. That's one theory. So that like sometimes those wires get crossed and people like get their toes sucked.
Whoa.
That's one
He's
version I've
definitely coming
heard.
out on this.
No,
Like, guys, it's normal.
yeah, just trust me.
Why is everyone looking
I
at
went
me
to
funny?
college for this.
I went to toe sucking university.
Scientists say it's not that
TSU.
uncommon.
But on a slightly, the other reason, which also I think my psychology professor at Tech had a toe
At
fetish.
tech sucking
Because, like,
university.
When during like our semester, whenever he talk about fetishes, he'd specifically bring up sucking toes.
Maybe he was just into that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
He was
saying.
trying to
That's what I'm
gauge
saying.
if the kids were cool.
He'd be
with it.
like just teaching and he'd be like, and then sometimes you just go up to your girl and like, hey, I want to suck your toes, and it's like, where's this coming from, man?
I had a sociology professor that complained I had a sociology teacher in high school
That's
who always complained that his wife never slept with him. And I just kind of really sat there thinking, is this going to be on the final? Do I need to remember this?
TSU.
Toe Sucking University. We got to start making those for the merch.
Toe sucking.
Big TSU
We are
on the
not-
front.
We are not
Toe suckers on
putting
the
money
back.
down for branding around sucking toes.
That
I'm-
shows you have to be shirtless and you TSU on your,
Oh
on
my
your
God.
belly.
What I took away from
Yeah.
what I took away from this is Madden has a PhD in toe sucking
Yeah.
from TSC,
Yeah,
from Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply. That's where all the toes are. I guess I don't know.
So,
stinky toes on.
Ho-
I don't want to hear about stinky toes.
hold
Who
on.
needs Stinky
Hold
toes.
on. Let's steer away from the toe sucking.
This isn't about toe sucking. It's about stinky toes.
we can talk about stinky.
He's
toes.
got the world's worst foot
Can
smell.
I go pee first? Am I
No,
gonna
you're
pee?
gonna listen to me talk
I'm gonna
about
go
Colin's
pee.
smelly feet.
Y'all just keep going. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
pee.
I lived
I
with
don't
him.
know what else to do about it.
I lived with him. He'd come home, he'd take his shoes off, and he was just like, and you'd feel it's like cartoons. You just got green stink lines going up your nose.
I'm a mechanic. I get hot and sweaty.
I get
all
hot and
fucking
sweaty,
day.
and I wear boots, and my feet don't smell.
Yeah, well,
Go to the
prove it.
doctor.
It's because I'm. Oh, I got all that testosterone.
Go to your doctor.
Ask.
Ask him about your smelly feet and your pants pooping
Look, the pants pooping.
and your
It's 'cause
kidney
my
Go to the
stones.
bathroom.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Oh, you've seen that?
Yeah.
Every time I have people over for like a watch party or something, I kick it off with that.
Dude,
And everyone's
it's so
like, "Why
beautiful.
are you doing this again?"
Because it's the perfect video.
Like it didn't land the first time. After the 8th time, I'm like starting to get mad, and I'm like, "That's even better."
Do you want us to leave?
Before you leave here, you will know what we're talking
Okay.
about.
Okay.
It's.
You know what we got to show him then? The Watermelon Boy video.
Oh God.
You know, I just thought
Oh
about
God,
it.
no.
Hey, man, welcome back.
Hey, we're talking about watermelons
We're talking about shitting your pants and not going to the bathroom.
And stinky feet.
Okay.
Stinky feet.
I feel bad.
Aren't you guys glad you came here?
Yeah, me too.
I'm having a great time.
Me
This is
too.
so much
Me too.
fun.
Let's take a hard segue now.
Okay.
So I don't know if I like told you guys this, but well, clearly you figured it out at this point. We're only talking about music too much on the show.
Oh yeah.
I have musicians on it. Don't talk about what they do.
Oh,
That's
You
fun.
guys are an exception because I really like your EP.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're getting to the stoner part of the conversation.
Oh yeah.
So this is something I ask everybody, and I used to just ask people if they had any ghost stories, but that's not really what I'm trying to say. What I'm asking is, have you ever experienced something that you can't readily like rationalize?
Yes.
Um,
I have gone over this a long time. I think
yeah.
I've told you guys
You
about
told-
my mom's house.
Yeah.
So my parents split. We'll just trauma it up that opening. My mom moved into this house, and I was there by myself a bunch in the summer, and it had this long curved stairwell and this long hallway that ended. And I was sitting in this room at the end with the door shut, and I just hear footsteps run all the way up, stop at the door. And for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to open the door. Oh, there's nothing there. That's strange. And then let's see, I had one night that the door opened itself, not knob opened. I mean, I watched the lever go down and the door kick open. Then, because I told you about Stinky, going back to Stinky, that's my sister's name. Shout out to Stinky. She was making some
stinky. If you know what I'm saying.
Ghost
I'll
stories.
kill you.
Ghost stories. So go on.
So she's using my mom's circa 2009 laptop to make a video, and all of a sudden I hear her scream and come running out of my mom's room. She's like, I was doing something, I look over, and there's just this black mass on the wall. And she's like, come here, I'll show you the video. And you see her move, and you see her head turn, video completely freezes up, then cuts it when she's gone out of the room. Super weird stuff, and I'll find the photo. There's a photo where you see like a figment hand above my head, which is nice and creepy.
Whoa.
And not only that, my stepdad heard things, my grandmother heard
All in the
things,
same house?
all in the same house. My mom, on the other hand, was just like, I don't know, I never experienced anything. I'm here by myself all the time, and there's nothing.
Where you from, man?
So this was in Mount Juliet,
Really?
a whole bunch of
Yeah.
farmland. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna assume some farming spooky stuff happened. That's about it. So
Interesting. This was when you were a kid?
this is when I was like 13, 14. That's the biggest thing I remember. There's probably other things, but that's like my big long standing one that I kept dealing with everyone else around me had all heard something or seen something.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to, I'll give you guys the address. That way you don't move into the
Sure.
haunted house.
As when you look back on that, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. There was one time I was sure I heard my name. It freaked me out. I got to a point that I would not stay there by myself. And like, I would like turn on every light. If I got up to go to the bathroom in the night, bedroom light on, hallway light on, bathroom light on, and it would be like a little kid thing. I'd flick off the light and run as fast as I could back. Like, can you let me?
I got the same vibes from my house growing up.
What, is this the?
This is Mo Donaldson.
Oh,
I almost
well,
said
not
the
the-
street name. But
This
this
is
is the
Mo
house
Donaldson.
like I grew up in, and my parents were divorced too. I don't know if that plays
Dude,
into it.
divorce trauma.
Yeah. But it was the same thing. Like I would hear like footsteps on other sides of the house, and like I just had general like uneasy vibes there. And like the people who owned it beforehand, they were part of a cult.
Oh,
And so like
Do you know which one? Or just like
it was the Tony Alamo cult, which was kind of a relatively big-ish cult
okay.
in this area. And like I don't know the time period, but obviously it was after or it was before we moved into there. And the house itself wasn't that old because it was built in 1950, I think. So I mean, it wasn't ancient, but it was the same vibes. But
Yeah.
to that point, my older sister, she's just moved in to the house that my dad grew up in. It's my grandparents' house. And two people actually passed away in that house. And she said she's heard things. She's had dreams about our late grandfather in the house, I'm pretty sure. And like there's been instances where like lights have just shut off by themselves. And
that's just faulty wiring.
no.
Tell her to get an electrician out there.
No, the wiring's fine, bro. They checked that already. It's
Did they?
Ghost. It's fucking Ghost.
Dude, is it Danny Phantom?
I don't know.
What do you think about that? Do you think it's ghost, and what is a ghost?
It's hard for me to say. I feel like based on our experiences, like I don't think it's like an ooh spooky ghost like you think like typically, but I do feel like, us growing up in houses with divorced parents, and Colin, you might be able to chime in on this, but like I feel like there's some sort of like negative energies that are attracted to like situations like I
Yeah.
don't want to say broken homes, but homes that are damaged, like
Things that heavy emotions,
Yeah,
lots of
high emotions.
unhappiness.
I would agree with that. It's an energy. and
Yeah.
it could be any kind of energy, but that's gonna get you different kinds of stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Depending on the energy. Because like I grew up super religiously, and like in retrospect, when I look back, having experienced weird things like as an adult, I look back and I'm like, oh, that feeling when you're like in a mega church and you're like surrounded by people and there's like this crazy energy. It's like that's the same kind of energy not the same kind of energy, but it's a similar feeling to when you're like using a Ouija board or something.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't feel it when I didn't know what I was experiencing as a kid, but as an adult in retrospect, I'm like, that was some kind of like really powerful energy. Like I guess like the Holy Spirit or something.
Yeah.
But like whatever you want to call it, right? But yeah, I'm a big believer in that stuff. I wasn't when I moved out, like I was also homeschooled. So I was like extremely sheltered.
Yeah.
And
I won't
I'm
step on
adjusted
toes.
now, sort of. But like I moved out when I was 18 and I like literally knew nobody.
Yeah.
And I started going to shows here, and like that became church. Like that feeling when you're at a show, like it's a very like powerful spiritual energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I say all that to like what you guys do is really important. Whether you realize that or not. Like I wouldn't be here without live music. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can bring you enjoyment, because that, like, at the end of the day, it's all about that. It's about us enjoying what we're doing and people enjoying hearing what we're doing.
Yeah. I think like not all bands know this, but like your audience knows whether you enjoy playing your music or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever seen a band where it's like they're just waiting to get out of here?
Yes.
And you like it's painfully obvious.
Mhm.
They don't think that,
No.
but it is. And it's like y'all clearly have fun with what you do. It's just good energy. You said summer drive music earlier. It's
Yeah.
like I know you're not a ska band, but it is what you make is good summer drive music.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Summer's coming up. So.
Yeah,
But-
it's getting to be a Tennessee summer. Put
Yeah.
this flower
Colin,
next to
did
a
you have
window.
any
This is
paranormal experiences growing up besides being Catholic?
It's all in and of itself.
I grew up Catholic too, for reference.
I didn't. I don't feel guilt. I'm not a Catholic.
No,
I feel
That's
lots of guilt.
Oh, you just.
I brushed
yeah.
it all off.
Yeah. I always got weird.
Hey guys, do that thing you did at that show where you do that Catholic thing.
No.
Come on,
No.
come on, you
Can't
know
tell
it.
the secrets, dude.
No,
Yeah.
Dang it!
You're not part of the club.
my priest will come and kill me.
I don't think that's
Molest
what
you,
he's
then
gonna
kill
do.
you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad
Mine
we
will just
went on
eat
that
peanut
same
butter in
wavelength.
front of me and not do anything.
What'd you do
So
this
do you
week?
have any
So I know, not growing up. I did have an experience like as an adult. I will say I'm not
Did the ghost make you poop yourself?
exactly. Did hit that brown note. Yeah.
who shit my pants?
He just had a spooky dookie. Damn ghosts always shitting my pants.
What is this keep happening?
I don't know.
This ghost has possessed my colon.
My
Colon Higgs.
But
Like stick some sage up your ass.
Oh.
Sorry.
Guy's gotta get a sage enema.
I'm so sorry, Colin. Go ahead.
So I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily spiritual. Like I believe in energies and like the risk of sounding like kind of stupid. I believe in like vibes of things that are going on, and you know, certain things have
Yeah.
energies that make you feel a certain way. Don't know why, but like I'm not very like spiritual. I'd say at all, really.
The people that aren't are the experiences I'm most interested in hearing.
Yeah.
Because if you're
No,
not
this-
a believer and you've had some experiences, like I want to hear about that and also what you think about that.
So like I was probably like 23 or 24, and so like 6 years ago or so, and I was dating this chick, and her parents lived in like farmland, Ohio, near Dayton, but middle of nowhere on a bunch of farmland, and we were up visiting for Thanksgiving one year, and this was I think the second time I've been up to her parents' house, and I remember talking about like on the way up, she was like, "Yeah, but I don't like sleeping in my childhood room. It feels weird. Like I've had weird dreams there that I can't really explain." And she was very, very much a spiritual person. She was like, "I think there's something weird in the house," and like then I still wasn't, and I was like, "Ah, no, it's nothing." And like literally, like it's gonna sound silly, but like didn't think anything else of it. And we spent like 5 days up there, I think. And one of the day, Thanksgiving Day, before the rest of the like extended family came to her house for Thanksgiving, we were just taking a nap middle of the day. I think we went shopping like super early in the morning, and I just go to sleep like a normal nap. And I've heard like similar stories of this before, and there was just this like I'm sleeping, and then I truly think I wake up, I walk downstairs, Thanksgiving's going on, like my cognitive, like normal brain, like I vividly remember the dream, and like I feel like I was actually doing it, and then like off in a corner, like out of the corner of my eye, there'd be like a little like dark guy in a corner, like not really, I hate to say, but like Slender Man, but like just stark black, like almost like void of anything there, and then
The
I would,
absence of a person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I would wake up, and I'd wake up and I'd do it, and then the guy would be there again, and then I would wake up and I would walk, and it would like I felt like it slowly started to become like untangled, and like things weren't really super realistic anymore. Like the house was different, and I knew the house was different because like I was like cognitive of everything, so I was like, this is not where I am right now, and I just woke up. What the fuck is going on? Until eventually, like I felt like the loops started getting like shorter. And like there was one time where like I woke up and my girlfriend at the time was like shaking in the bed, and I was trying to wake her up and she wouldn't wake up, and like she was being weird. And then I actually woke up, and like never experienced anything like that before, never have since. It was just a crazy like experience. I mean, like it legitimately shook me because like I don't really believe in like those things. I don't think it's like there. I'm not saying things don't go on, but like I think there's other explanations of things possibly. Not that I know or that anyone
Yeah.
else knows. But
That's why I don't say ghost stories, because it puts this implication on it that like none of us have any idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like no one on the planet. We're all just children bumbling around, confused.
Mhm.
Everyone's like experiencing like I think everyone I've ever met is mentally ill, and not just everyone I've ever
Yeah.
met, but everyone in the world is like has mental illness.
Yeah.
Right. Like in varying degrees. Right. Like I think when we talk about mental illness, that's like obviously higher on a spectrum of that thing,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But like I've never met anyone that's like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah, I
everyone has
believe
their
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I think it has something to do with the fact that now we're more of aware of things. We don't recognize mental illness as the extreme case of like, oh, this person is running around outside, tearing their hair out, lighting themselves on fire naked. It's like, oh, this person hasn't acted quite right in the last few weeks. Something might be up.
we decided to be like preventative instead of responsive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more lobotomy.
Yeah.
Dang it. Those are the days, man.
Yeah.
I got
Everyone loves an ice
lobotomized at a point taken show.
Guys, new merch.
And all I got were my
TSU.
toes sucked.
Yes. Oh, man.
There we go.
So you actually made me think of this, right? 'Cause
Okay.
we're talking about these as energies, like sort of things. So I remember one of the times that I had something like that happen. We lost my granddad on Thanksgiving in 2007. And so we all went to stay with my grandmother for Christmas that year. And I woke up before everyone on Christmas Day. I get to the bottom of the stairs, and I mean, across the hall in clear as day, I see my granddad's shadow just go across the wall and into the living room. Never saw it again. No weird energy or anything. It was just like, that was weird. And my parents had gotten me the HO scale Thomas the Tank Engine circle to play with. So
We're talking
that
about
kind of got everything out
it
of
pushed
it.
it from your brain.
It pushed the trauma out.
Thomas Protect.
Thomas Protect.
Thomas the Protect engine.
Thomas the
Yes.
Protect.
I think about this stuff intrusively. Like I have a hard time turning it off. So it is nice to hear other people's takes on it.
Yeah.
And I'm open to pretty much every conclusion, including like this is all in my head. Like that's a completely acceptable answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, like none of us really have any. That's why these questions are so interesting to me, because no one knows the answer.
Mhm.
Like something else I ask people is, what do you think happens after we die? And I think that's another one I think about, because no one knows.
Yeah.
Some people feel really confident about their answer, and it's like you don't know that. Like, you know, it's like it could be anything.
That stuff, like that's what keeps me up at night sometimes, because you know I waffle like on what I think happens. Like, you know, of course, coming from my Catholic upbringing, I think of concepts like heaven and hell, and then I think of other concepts like reincarnation, and then other times I'm just like nothing happens.
Gosh, reincarnation isn't real. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I don't know. I'd be reincarnated as like a fox or something.
I don't think you get a choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Funny.
I haven't read up on
I
reincarnation.
have a gecko at home, and like sometimes I just go look at him while he's standing on this rock. He doesn't have to think about like taxes or like bills or anything. I'm just like, you have it good, man. He just sits there on his rock and stares at me, and like I feed him worms, and like sometimes that's kind of nice,
Kind of nice.
you know.
At this point in time, does anything make more sense to you than anything else?
Gosh, honestly, not really, because I try and drive it from my mind as much as possible, because that's where I get fucking existential.
Sure.
And like just have an anxiety attack, and
Sorry, I'm induced. trying
yeah,
to
it's
induce that
it's
right
all
now.
right. It's all good. We all
It is. I think that's where like religion and stuff comes into play.
Yeah,
It is really nice to like just turn your brain off to that.
yeah.
It's like I've got my answer. I never have to. Think
Yeah,
about this
and people can do that. I think my angle right now is like, since I don't know, I want to make the best of what I have in this life.
That's the best answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't affect how you live.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
like, regardless of whether we're here by chance or whether there's a creator, like, this is a gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. It doesn't matter what I think about it.
Yeah. And like if you reincarnate, like you're not going to remember your past life. So like what's it matter what you like?
I feel very old. Like,
Oh yeah.
I always have. Like,
Old soul.
it sounds so cliche.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like, not just physically. And I do feel like I've been here before.
Yeah.
But like Noah said, this is my last lap around the track.
Yeah.
When I die, I ain't never coming back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. I feel like I've had experience. Like I remember my first memory, like gaining consciousness. Like I was very young. I was in the office of like my grandparents' house, and I was eating a raisin. And like my first conscious memory is like the taste of raisin.
That's unfortunate.
I know, and it's all downhill from there. But no, like, but I
sucks.
do like remember. I feel like I have memories before that, but they come in flashes,
Okay.
and it makes me wonder: is like, are those things I experienced as a child, or are they things from like a past life? And I don't think about that too often, but I do wonder. And like sometimes, like the big thing people talk about now is like liminal spaces.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
I
I'll
love
see-
those spaces.
Yeah, backrooms. I'll see pictures like that, and I guess that's the whole psychological thing around liminality is like, have I been here before? But I do feel like I've been in, like genuinely been in some of those spaces, even though I haven't in this life.
I've heard a cool one recently that like you repeat this over again.
Oh yeah,
So like
Interesting.
you get reincarnated as yourself in the
Yeah.
exact same scenario.
interesting.
That's what Steely Dan's "Do It Again" is about.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I think that for a minute.
I'm so gullible. Dude. I'm
Almost
so
every-
gullible.
I
I'll believe
should have
anything,
just
dude.
kept going with that for a while.
That's an interesting
Yeah,
concept
there's like
too.
there is like a big concept that everybody is all on repeat. What it is like it's collective unconscious. Basically, like there is something else here that is just gaining all of these experiences through all these lives lived over.
Interesting.
Well, I
and
mean,
over
isn't
and
there? I'm not the most read up on science, but isn't there like a scientific theory that the universe just starts, ends, and then restarts itself, like just in a constant cycle?
Yeah, there is some.
I
sort
know
of concept
Futurama
there.
did something about it, and they're pretty good with their science. So I'd like to trust that they're not
Well-
making that up on their own. But
From my understanding, from like what we can observe, and like I'm not an expert on the subject by any means, but like my understanding is that like it started from not like this pinprick and it expands out
Yeah,
and it'll eventually like contract back together.
yeah.
So I think everything does this.
Oh yeah.
It's like a togetherness and a separation,
Yeah.
and it comes back together. Like that's what breathing is, right? That's how babies are made. It's
like
like
a
two things
heartbeat,
come
yeah.
together and they
Yeah.
separate and they come together.
like you
Yeah.
and your mom last night.
Hey,
Whoa!
All right, thanks for having us.
Get out.
Yeah.
But like I think consciousness is the same thing. I think we all are like this. The thing that is me is identical to the same thing that is everyone else. Is the same thing that is an ant. But so what makes us different is I'm a determinist. What makes us different is our biology and nurture,
Yeah.
situations we
Yeah.
come from. I think the soul is a blank slate, and whatever we can call that thing God, we can call it nirvana, like a collective like mindset. But I think that's what's going on. And not only that, but I think every religion in the world is saying this. Like Jesus is like, hey guys, I'm God. I just figured that out. Hey, dude, you're God too. Like treat other people the way you want to be treated, because guess what? That's you. Like
Yeah.
and
Interesting.
yeah, and not only that, but like every religion says that, but none of these religions understand that that's like I'll slow down a minute. I had the Bible like forced on me as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I've read the Bible, and as an adult, I appreciate it. what I realized what I didn't like about it as a kid is none of these people have any idea what the fuck they're talking about. Like no one understands this shit. This is the most complex, crazy rabbi magic that has ever taken place. And it's for people to like think they understand this weird esoteric book is like ridiculous. But I do think it is very profound. It's just not literally true. Like we're not like, did you know fundamentalism has existed for like 500 years? It's like a very new concept. Like ancient Jews did not take that shit seriously. Like they took it seriously, reverence, but they don't think that's their origin story. Like these are guiding principles. And it is true. It's just not literally true, you know?
Yeah.
But every religion does this. Like they completely misinterpret what they're reading. It's really frustrating having to explain people's religion to them. It's like I'm not in this religion, but I know so much more about this than you. And that's most Christians. Most Christians don't read the Bible. Like so anyway, rant over. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I think about this shit all the time. But what do you guys think happens after we die?
So I do take the
I'll bet
Christian
I'll
belief.
take it.
Granted, we amazingly have the full gamut of religious, middle of the road, not
Yeah.
religious in the least. I think as going back to what you were saying about Christians not reading the Bible, I think a large portion of that is the American idea, the Americanized gospel. There's a documentary about it that I think is fantastic. Thank you. I couldn't tell if you could tell I was sweating a little bit.
It's hot in here, right?
It's a
I've got the
tad
air on.
toasty.
I might be stinky, but you're sweating.
I am sweating.
I'm sweating too.
Drink a lot of water.
Hopefully that'll make it better.
But no, I definitely think that I have forgotten what my point is.
we're talking about what
Okay.
happens after we die.
Yeah, I definitely think like I am a firm believer that is what is going to happen when I die. That is what I think. I will not in any means force that upon anyone. I'm always down to talk about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully I have the answer to it. And if I don't, I will look it up and I will get back to you. I do not want to be one of the like, I'm right, you're wrong. I think that this is what happens, but you
I
can
think-
talk to me if you have a different idea.
I think the Bible does describe what's going on, but there's so many different takes on it.
Yeah.
So like as a Christian, what is your take on like what do you think happens specifically?
I think it is remarkably literal, at least in a lot of that. Now, the thing with the Bible, and especially when you read a lot of Jesus's parables, is a lot of that is told as, I can't remember, is it metaphor or is it simile that I'm looking for?
Simile
It's
is like or as.
like or as, okay.
Yeah.
Where a
Yeah,
lot
it's-
of these
it's a
things
parable.
are metaphors, where it's like, this is not the literal story. This is how this can be interpreted. I don't know how much of that, like, when you read in Revelation and all that stuff at the end times, is that literally what's happening, or is this a figurative way to represent events happening in the world?
Symbolism. Well, that
Yes.
Revelation comes from Daniel's dream or his interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Yes. Because you had, let's see, it was like the head, it's been a long time since I read Daniel. Head of gold, body of
Yeah.
silver, bronze, and then the feet were
mixed clay.
with a mixed
and-
clay, and it was talking about how the kingdoms of the world will be. Like
Yeah.
Babylon will be the greatest kingdom, and everything that follows will be slightly less and less and less.
And then a meteor strikes the feet and the
Yep.
whole thing tumbles down. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that
There's truth in that. That's,
I-
that's
I-
true.
tend to look at that. That's how I base it. And you know what? At the end of the day, if I'm wrong, oh well.
Yeah, I
You
mean, no one knows, you know. Like I think a lot of that is like, I also think that's what's going on. It's just, I'm not sure. Like organized Christianity, like what I saw growing up, like I think it's too literal. I think like the return of Christ is us. I think it's the spirit of Christ, which is really just, if you think about the Jesus parable, it's about self-sacrifice. Like I'm giving myself up so if people adopt that energy, that would save the world, right? Like that would be enough to save the world, as if people just decided to put others first.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great like stuff to talk about. I love
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
other people's takes on it. What do you think happens after we die?
I think you just kind of die.
Yep.
I got it. It's just I'm not opposed to anything else. It's not. I'm not like some staunch like dickhead atheist.
He's not the
about it.
14-year-old
Yeah.
militant Reddit
I
atheist.
would say like I do tend to lean like just more agnostic, I think, than like straight up atheist. There hasn't been proof that there is. There hasn't been proof that there isn't. And
Yeah.
I don't have any idea how we ended up here, whether it was some, intelligent design or we just shit happened just fucking perfect, just right here, and things were able,
Or a
able to
spaceship from
evolve.
Mars crashed on
Did,
Earth. and
did you
that's
guys
what
ever
we-
watch VeggieTales growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the best explanation. God made all the stars out of nothing. He just went, and there they were.
Oh. Well,
There
that
you
makes so much more sense.
Look at that. I just made this.
I'm
guy
enlightened.
research.
Him, dude.
Solve
Yeah.
the
I can
world.
see it in his eyes.
Also, if you guys have not watched VeggieTales out there, it's amazing.
If
Oh,
you
like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you boom, boom, boom. If you okay, I'll just come over here by myself then.
No hair from my
My hairbrush.
You write a metal cover of this?
Actually,
Hold on.
on your seventh
I-
string.
I think we're on to something with our next cover, guys.
We should just do we should do a silly songs with Larry sing along.
I'm sure
Man, how sad is it? They booted Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki, the guys who made it from making VeggieTales.
what?
Yeah.
What?
They really got booted out of Big Idea Production.
How?
I don't know. I don't know how you can like take the two guys who voiced almost every character for 20 some odd years and go, we don't need you anymore.
Sounds like some corporate bullshit.
That is-
We own this.
That's another thing. This is like a big stance of mine. Business and religion are not ever meant to mix.
Oh, sure.
Not even in the least.
Well, that's Jesus throwing people out of the tabernacle.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I am very staunch about that. It's like mega churches where pastors are making insane amounts of money. That stuff is so vehement to me. I think I used that word right.
You did.
Vehement. All right, good. Thank goodness.
Sure.
Nice
Yeah,
picture.
it's
Yeah.
like whenever I see the Joel Osteens and the Ken Copelands and the guys who are like, you need to give to me, because that's what God wants you to do. That stuff is so terrible. I think it has sown such a slap across the face of Christianity in the last 100 years.
It's like the opposite. Like white magic is I give myself for everything. And then black magic is like I sacrifice everyone for myself.
Yep.
So it's actually the inverse of
I'm-
Christianity.
I'm also going to say it. Ken Copeland is 100% like not a person. That man is a
He's a
demon.
lizard.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's,
He's a lizard.
he's a lizard. He's
Lizard.
gotta be.
Yeah.
Have you seen that interview where like,
No, I didn't. And don't you say I did.
and he just like pulls it all back. We wrestle not.
Like
Give me chills.
Yeah.
it's got like pit bull eyes, and it's the most unsettling thing. On the
Man,
Meet me at the hotel room.
Did you guys ever see someone took his COVID-19 blow the wind of God thing at it, and someone made it into a song?
Whoa.
The wind of God, and it like zooms in on his scary smile.
Yeah.
Dude. I found out recently that guy's in his 80s. I thought he was in his 60s.
What?
Yeah, he's in his 80s.
So he's gonna die soon.
No, he's not.
Damn it. He's gonna live like
Definitely.
180 years.
With your donation, I can live longer.
my
Give me
dad,
my fourth private jet.
my dad's side of the family is all like crazy Southern Baptist. So like a lot of my growing up was two church services every Sunday, Catholic mass in the morning. My dad would drag us along for the
Oh.
Baptist sermon.
Man, you got it both sides, didn't you?
Yeah, and then like
No
I just
wonder he hates
remember, I
religion.
remember as like me still labeling myself as a Christian and believing those things when I was younger, and I remember like some of those evangelists coming because I went to like it was like a massive Baptist church. You know, every city has a ginormous Baptist
They
church
do.
for some reason.
Yeah.
And,
Southern Baptist Convention, baby. What do you want?
yeah, and I remember having the evangelical preachers come through, and I remember like sitting there and listening to me like, this is all bullshit. Like, this is like, what is this? This has nothing to do with like anything. You're talking about how, you know, God's here to save us, but then in the second breath, and you need to be like selfless and help. And then you're like, yeah, but also if you'd like to, remember to give your tithes, and you know we're going to pass the offering plate around for all these preachers that are here that came by and drove out here to give us. Like, but you're preaching the word, and you are also, if you want to get technical, getting paid by a whole foundation that does nothing but pay these preachers for these churches, and you're still peddling around asking for more money. Like, that's one thing, at least in my parish as a Catholic church, that I respected, is our priest got a house that was on the church's property,
Oh, yeah.
and that's just where he lived. They provided him with a car, and they made sure he had food. But like that
Yeah.
was his life,
Yeah.
was the church and his home on church
Yeah.
grounds. Was his
Yeah,
whole
that
life.
kind of thing. Like my granddad was a principal Monday to Friday and a pastor on Sundays.
Whoa, that's
So,
crazy.
and not only that, like this is back in the 60s and 70s. He would get done with his day on Friday, go out and play with the football team, then go home, lay out a bunch of books, and start writing a sermon over the weekend.
Whoa.
So I that's like my thing. I think once you start putting a lot of money into the church, it starts once it starts running as something of a business, which like I get to an extent you have to, right? You have to pay your bills, you
Right,
have
right.
to pay for utilities and everything. But like once it starts turning into a making profits thing, it starts to get real muddy real quick.
Yeah.
Like, and that's probably not the case with everyone. There are definitely people that come into great sums of money that are very quick to turn around and hand it out.
Yeah.
But like it is the massive hoarding of wealth from a lot of televangelists, and that's the big one. Televangelists.
Yeah. And like the other thought, like question that I always had, especially when I was younger, is like, why do we need these places of worship? Like, what's the point of having this place of worship? Is not anywhere that people that believe in these things and hold reverence towards these things congregate? Is that not a place of worship? So why do we need these massive like churches?
Right.
Yeah.
Why why do I have this giant gold table, a giant gold box, and all these pretty like stained glass windows? Like, why am I having to pay you money to worship a belief that doesn't care about
And
money
then on the
and shouldn't
biggest
care
biggest
about
scale
money?
of that, like the Vatican, like Vatican City,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's
like-
a whole ass city.
like so
It's a
grandiose.
whole country.
Get country,
Man,
sorry,
though,
yeah.
I gotta say though, because we were talking about this, man, the architecture in those places
Yeah,
is
it's gorgeous.
amazing.
it's
Yeah.
so
Gorgeous.
beautiful.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's got to be a traditional thing. Like I feel like I have not done enough history of this. I feel like it makes much more sense way back when you really had only that as being sort of a way you were communicating with people. Because I know a lot of times now you have home churches, right?
Yeah.
Just 4,
Yeah,
5,
we did
6,
that
7
growing up,
people.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the Catholic Church, like they have the Stations of the Cross around the church because people couldn't read,
Stained glass.
Yeah.
and so they can learn about, you know.
Only some
Jesus.
churches implemented on stained glass. There was one that
I love some stained
it's
glass.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
But then they had like, I've been to like some smaller churches that it's just literal just paintings of
Yeah.
it just hung up on the wall.
You've seen mine.
Yeah.
It's just gray walls and wood pallets.
thinking
with
of
paint.
the-
$40,000 sound system.
I went
It's
to
not that
Catholic
much.
school
I
growing
wish it
up, and
was.
I'm thinking of the church. I think we had like I don't know if we had stained glass, but I feel like we actually had like 3D reliefs. of
Dude,
the Passion of the Christ.
The church
Going
in
on.
3D.
Yeah,
if you have
the
a-
seats
Yeah,
man
yeah,
too.
yeah. Sunglasses.
If you haven't been to a cathedral though, like they're
Oh,
I
yeah.
went to England. I've
Okay,
seen
yeah, okay.
cathedrals.
They're
Yeah.
gorgeous. They're just they're gorgeous.
Yeah, no, man. I do love me some Gothic cathedrals. We saw Westminster Abbey, dude. Crazy. And then you get to the very end and you look and you realize it's this monstrous like cross that this building is shaped in.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
They played horns at my church. I have to say, Colin, for all of his
The first
he hasn't
time.
he hasn't been as bad about it, but he did it the first time, and then all he did was like, man, I don't feel good going to church. I don't believe in this.
Yeah.
So then, like a year later, the guy that was in charge
He
of
shit
it,
himself.
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he did that. The guy who was leading it left our church, and I was like, well, Colin, good job. You made Frank leave the church, and he was like, I did? Like so genuinely
Because
upset.
Frank's a
about
good dude.
it. Frank
Yeah,
is
he
an
is a
amazing
good
guy.
dude.
Trumpeting for the Lord.
Yes.
I actually had a lot of fun with that.
I just
Like, I had fun. I just felt fucking fake. Made me feel uncomfortable and uneasy because I'm like, I get that, like, you know, I'm just here playing music, which I love doing and enjoy doing, but like, I'm not doing this for the reason these people are doing it. As someone that is portraying it to these people that are worshiping this thing. I just felt disgenuine, and I didn't want to do it because
You just wanted to
like I
meet
finished
chicks.
it. Yeah, I came there to get hot Christian babes.
Yeah.
Everyone in that church is married.
So
That doesn't mean anything.
Ever heard
churches
of
loosened up
adultery?
on divorce.
Colin, don't do that. Hey, you know what? You know what? King Henry VIII said it best. I'm gonna form my own church. It's gonna have blackjack and hookers.
Yeah. It's pretty much how
That's
it
how
went
we have the
down.
Anglican church.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a fun, not quite
He
history
wanted to
fact.
get divorced.
You guys believe in free will?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or was I made to say yes?
What is free will? What does that mean?
I mean, it kind of plays into like self-determination and like what you want to do with your life, honestly. Like, I'm trying to think of the best way to work.
That's
I'm
a
thinking
really-
about my life.
That's a really simple question with an incredibly complex answer.
I think it's just that there's no destiny. There's not a path that your life should be on.
I don't think there's like
preset.
some divine intervention that's like making you ride a specific track. I think you're like you're talking earlier about like nurture and like kind of like how we're blank slates. I think what makes us is what chooses us to make our decisions in a specific way.
Oh, sure. That's actually where I was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. If, what if I told you that every decision you've ever made was based on prior stimulus?
Oh my God.
It's like
Yeah.
you thought you chose Pepsi, but it's actually because you saw a commercial for Pepsi
Yeah.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like the quick little flash thing. What's
yeah.
that called?
It's like yesterday he
Oh,
was texting me
like
about.
subliminal stuff.
Yeah.
You texted me
Yeah.
about milkshakes, and I went home and I made a milkshake.
You were gonna do that whether I text you that.
No,
or
I
not.
wasn't. I was gonna make a smoothie.
Right.
So
and then you were texting about.
I
milkshakes.
control your thoughts.
Yeah.
I,
Anyway, sorry.
I've recently the conclusion I've come to with this is that these two things are not in conflict. Like everything you do is determined by something previous,
Mhm.
but also we have free will. Like
Yeah.
it's a theory called compatibilism. They're not in conflict. They're compatible ideas.
Yeah.
I think that's really the answer. Is yes, everything. It's not determined in like a fate way, but it's determined by the initial domino that fell.
Yeah.
Like the way things play out is based on previous things that played out. It's a sequence, is what I'm
Yeah.
going to say. But also humans have free will. I would say
Yeah.
evidently.
I think to that point, if you forgive me for circling back to our music, but our new single that's coming out, Breathe.
Oh yeah, you guys are in a band.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, so let me
No,
tie this
no,
idea to
but-
our song, which we'll have available
Yeah.
on iTunes,
Well,
Apple Music.
No, I kind of played with that concept because basically what the song is about is kind of so just for context during COVID, like my life was shit. Like I was
Man,
in,
you were
like,
the only one, huh?
not yeah, just me. No, I mean like I was in a job that like I enjoyed, but I really wasn't going anywhere with it. And like I was just not having I just was not in a good space. And so I decided to go back to school and kind of get did you just take my pocket knife? Anyways. But I kind of toyed with that concept because as bad as everything was going on in the world and like my previous mistakes in my life, like everything that had happened kind of led to these circumstances that allowed me to get into a better position with my life. And like if one thing had changed, like I wouldn't be sitting in this room probably, you know? So like that's kind of my angle on it is like previous like there's like free will, but yeah, there are things that in your life that shape you into a specific mold and push you on a certain path.
Yeah, it's like you can't control the trauma you've been through.
Yeah.
But you can kind of control your response to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
As someone who's been in therapy for 5 years, yes, you
Yes.
Yeah.
can. Yeah. I think some of that is you have to be aware of it. I think you don't have free will if you're just kind of following the same patterns. I think if you become aware of it, it's easier to go, oh, I've been continuously doing this and it's not working. I need to try this a different
Yeah.
approach.
There's
right?
definitely some self-examination, and especially not the trigger, but like I think abuse victims.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. But no, like it's really easy, and I'm speaking as someone who did survive abuse, as these guys know, but like I mean, it is
Sorry.
it is a cycle, you know, and a lot of people who are abusers were abused previously, and it's just a matter of like self-examination to break that cycle.
Do you have any advice for kids who might be going through something like that?
I wouldn't. I mean, I didn't grow up in an abusive household. Thankfully, it was more
Yeah.
like adult relationships. So I couldn't really speak for
Yeah.
children, but
I got you.
But
Just
I-
people in general.
yeah, I would say like if you feel like you're not being treated properly, like reach out for help. And like the worst thing that can happen as someone suffering from abuse is being isolated. So like if you are in a relationship and this person's not letting you talk with your friends, or they're trying to say, you know, your mom's a bad influence, you need to cut her out of your life. Things like that. Like take that as a red flag. Or like even in my situation, my partner would not. I wanted to go see a therapist to talk about these things, and she was like, "No, therapists don't know what they're talking about." It's like, so if you feel like you're getting isolated, don't let yourself get isolated. I think that's the most
That's
important
great
thing.
advice.
And ultimately that was the kind of make or break for me, because I finally just broke down and talked to my mom about it, and she called my dad. And my parents, like raising me, they were pretty chill, like with whatever I did. Like after I turned 16, like they're just like, we don't care what you do with your life. Not in a bad way, because they still are obviously in my life. But my dad called me and he was like, "Hey, look, I've never told you to do a thing since you turned 16. Like, I'm telling you now, as a 28-year-old man, you need to shut this shit down." And so like I was like, okay, you don't have to tell me twice. Like,
Say no more.
yeah, but yeah, like keeping your friends, keeping your family close, and having professional help is, and I think that's the most important thing after you get out in an abusive situation, is you need to speak to a professional.
Yeah.
And because like you can talk to your friends and your family, and they're good to be around to support you, but they don't have that professional knowledge, and
Totally
they
It can kill.
they don't have the professional help.
No matter what you've been through, even if you feel like it's trivial, like you don't need it, like it, everyone could use it, right?
Yes,
Everyone
yeah,
could use it.
absolutely, yeah.
Because I think like I had like abuse when I was like early teenager,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I'm not like too fucked up from this, and no one is a good
Yeah.
gauge of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like we're all way more messed up than we realize we are.
Oh,
I would say
absolutely.
that's just across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that-
Yeah. So like, get help. Get help,
Yeah.
even if you don't feel like it. Just try it out. See how it feels. I
yeah,
think that's important.
it
Yeah.
really is.
And not like self-gaslighting. Not ever going, oh well, yeah, it's probably just in my head though. Because
Yeah.
I did that. So like I had a situation where I was conveying to a partner of mine that I have this weird thing where I feel like I'm not me, right? I feel like I'm always putting on an act.
Yeah.
And she said, because I know I've talked to you about this, the
Maybe.
response I got was, that's really stupid.
Oh, yeah.
So flash forward 5 years later and I get diagnosed with ADHD and I find out what masking is. I'm like, there it is. There it is.
yeah.
So, I mean, like, definitely not sitting there. If someone says, I think that's dumb, or like, I'm not sure, like, don't immediately go, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I say that like being super skeptical of, well, the government, but also
Yeah.
this institution in general.
Yeah.
But even that being said, it's like, no, like go get help.
Yeah.
Like go see a professional.
Yeah.
I have radical ideas about the government and how we do what we do with that
Yeah.
that we won't get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I when
They're
I'm not
listening.
thinking about what happens after we die. Oh, dude, they're definitely listening. I've said so much shit. Like, hey, we shouldn't talk about this over the phone. It's like, dude, I talk about this on my podcast every day.
Yeah.
Guys over here being rusty shackled for.
Yeah. I will do this until they kill me. I'll take that as like, oh, I guess you thought I mattered.
Yeah.
I've got bad news. I'm the CIA wet word man.
I would have never seen it coming.
It was
I
the
really
white
wouldn't.
shirt. It should have given it away.
I was seeing it.
This whole band's a psyop.
I'm on
All right.
you guys.
Shut the
Yeah.
shut the camera off. We're gonna JFK.
If
this guy.
if you look closely at our album, you can see the Illuminati pyramid up there.
No, you see it in the A. Look, there it is.
The Eye of Magnus. That's what it's called. I think, right?
Shut up,
I
nerd.
like the
eyeball.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
thing.
Shut up,
The
man.
I like the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yo, Illuminati based. Based and naughty.
Base.
Based in Nazi.
If you rearrange the letters and all the lyrics in our songs, it comes out as
It
the
says
CIA
Paul
killed
McCartney.
JFK.
They replaced
No,
it with
dude.
a clone.
Yeah.
No, dude. JFK was taking meth and steroids. His head
His
just
head
did
just
that.
did that.
It just did that.
Yeah. That's
Marilyn-
my favorite theory.
No, my favorite inverse to that is like he was reportedly saying like if he didn't have sex with a woman a day, he'd have a headache. And so the theory is he just didn't have sex for 4 days and his head exploded.
Dang, dude.
That's my JFK theory.
Seems legit.
He was abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of aliens.
Oh yeah, they're real.
For sure.
Okay, they're
They
real.
come from other countries.
They're
Hold on. Hold on.
Is that
Pause?
I did not want to make that an actual like bad joke. I thought it'd be a nice little.
Yeah, no, that is funny.
Okay, good. You said that. I was like, did I just say something I should not have?
It could be. It can be that's a sound clip that's gonna come bite us in
Oh,
the
no.
ass.
This is my new ringtone.
Yeah.
Turn that out of context.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the opening line.
Here's
The
Point
episode-
Taken, the most racist band I've ever met.
Out loud at the
Do a write-up.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
man.
man.
But okay,
Same.
I've done, this will be like episode 177, 78, something like that.
Hell yeah.
And
Awesome.
everyone I've ever fucking talked to, it's like, yeah, aliens, it's like statistically impossible for there not to be life out there.
Yeah,
So my question is, have they been here? What do you think about that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe not in the lifespan of human history
Yeah, but at some
necessarily,
point.
but at some point I feel like they've visited, and I'd say it's plausible for
But is it possible?
aliens.
I mean, I think they're here now, but I
Yeah.
definitely think like, what about like ancient stuff makes you think that?
I'm kind of mixed on ancient stuff. Like I don't believe aliens built the pyramids or shit like that. I feel like that's just white people being afraid to admit that
It
other
could be
people-
something
But
extraterrestrial.
so you were saying you think they've been here before. Like, what makes you feel that way?
I just feel like just the probability of it,
Okay.
like just the you know
In an
how,
infinite
how old the
universe.
universe is, and like there's got to be like in the billions of years that the universe has existed, there's had to been other civilizations
I got you.
rise and fall.
Maybe they came
Um,
by and they thought we were like a gas station truck stop, and they're like, "Oh man, this place sucks."
Roll up the
Let's go
windows,
somewhere else."
lock the doors. So
Maybe.
like I don't have any concrete evidence, but that's my head canon, so to speak. And I could see aliens being here like now.
Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think, Colin?
I think I statistically, obviously, we're saying like it doesn't make sense for them to not. But I mean, there is also the thought that like, what is it? There's like 3 stages of like civilization, and like one is like where we're at now, which is like space travel, and then there's like
Tier 1 is like the most advanced.
Yeah,
Tier
like the-
2 is harnessing your the power of your sun,
yes,
and then tier 3 is like harnessing the power of all suns in your galaxy or
See,
something like that.
yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
and like I just feel like, and again, we don't know how massive like the universe is and what all is
Yeah.
out there, but like I do believe in aliens and I do think that they exist, but I don't know that necessarily they're anywhere near us or even close.
What?
We can even recognize that they're like us. We don't know that there's any other sentient
Even
life
if you've
out
been
there.
here before, you have to think about how impossible it would be to find it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's so much advanced
Everything
mathematics
moving
to like if you happened on it, I can see that, but coming back again would be difficult.
Yeah.
Like because it's not where it was before.
Yeah. It's moved.
Yeah.
My angle on life, because I used to be obsessed with aliens and space and shit
Oh, yeah.
in middle school. I wanted to be an astronaut. And I was
Nice.
too dumb. But my angle, like with you hear about scientists like looking for signs of life on other planets, but they are only looking at signs of life.
Oh, like carbon based. Like,
Yeah, carbon based. Like, and there's like with just the infinite probability. Like, there's got to be different kinds of life that are not carbon based. There has to be. Like,
And like what
Sure.
we were getting on earlier, like with the energies,
yeah,
like tapas, like they're just tapas exist, but they only exist because you spoke them in, and that doesn't mean that they necessarily exist in what we observe and can see and
Yeah.
conceive. But you've spoke them into existence. There is somewhere where these things exist just because you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. It's like, okay, next question. Leading into that or coming off of that, what is art and where does it come from?
Art.
Because like for me, there are times where I will sit down and make myself write. But that's usually after I'm doing something random and I kind of just get an idea. And I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you where that originated.
I'd say
But I guess the real question is, what is your writing process like, and where's the origin of it?
yeah.
I'd say for me lyrically, it hadn't always been the case, but with this, I've tried to always write about things that have happened to me because I feel like that's the way I can write genuine music that does not come off as some sort of like, oh, I'm doing songwriting by the numbers, where I'm like, oh, I need this song to contain this and this and this. I want to write about something that I've experienced, like, so I can go, I know how this feels. I know how the emotion in this should be portrayed from my end, type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I like to be. And I think even if you don't necessarily try that, I think all art comes from within, not in like a in a broad sense, but also like I think everyone can come up with the same things. Everyone can make art. I think some people just know how to get it out better than others do. I think anyone could write. I think anyone could paint. Anyone could play music. Anyone could anything. It's just a matter of figuring out how to get it out. I think, but I do think ideas just come from within. I don't know if it's an exterior thing, if it's just all something in your head that you've heard before or what have you. But I think every bit of art comes out from like deep
It
inside.
starts in here.
Yeah. You just got to figure out how to translate it from here and here to out here,
Gotcha.
or into a physical medium where people can understand it.
What do you guys think about that?
I'd say lyrically, like very much what Noah just said. Like I think it does come from experiences for me. Like musically, it depends. Like sometimes I just feel like my undiagnosed ADHD comes up with a cool line, and like I'll be like I gotta go write it down. But other times, like I've had dreams like where music's been playing in my dreams, and I've woken up and I'm like I gotta try and write that out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so that's happened a few times. That's happened a lot more lately than it has in kind of most of my life. But so like it varies, but I do think it like Noah kind of hit the nail on the head right there. Like it does come from within, and like I think every human has creativity within them. I mean, that's just from a biological sense. That's kind of one of our strongest traits as a species. Like, you know, we're not the strongest, we're not the fastest, but we have our brains
And thumbs.
and our thumbs. Those are also important. But
That's like the two things that made us like dominate the planet, basically.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like just scientifically speaking, like that's I do think it comes from within.
Okay.
And everyone has that ability to create.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of mine, which I think kind of leads into why like I like metal, just like this sound fucking cool. This sounded neat.
Yeah.
How do I expand upon this thing that sounded fucking cool? And what do
Yeah,
we do with this? And a lot of it, like a little akin to what Madden was saying. Like I've talked to other people, and I know like musicians tend to have it like a just weird inner ear. Like I can sit and like think of how I want a melody, and I can legitimately like I feel like I can hear it. I mean, it takes a little bit more to like get it out and express it, but I can legitimately hear what I'm wanting to do already. And like I've just like how some people don't have an inner monologue. Like I'm always talking to myself in my head.
Dude, that
And
was
some
crazy
people-
when I first heard that people don't.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Like I have an inner monologue that's just running
If you
24/7.
think about it, people without language wouldn't have had that. It's like kind of a developed thing.
All they
Oh shit!
put up there.
They hear
It's the 2001: A Space Odyssey soundtrack.
That's so funny. They do have an inner monologue, but it's all Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so.
That's a
funny.
new one.
But the reason I was asking about like where does music come from, because you were talking about, is it called a top
I
love?
I also know that it's like a way
Isn't that
to
like
eat
a
food.
Mexican?
Yeah, when you were saying tapas, I was
I
like,
did
is
say
that food?
tapas.
It's a,
I
it's
was
not a-
like,
it's not a tabla. That's an
No.
instrument. Is it a topa?
Topa. I think.
I
Guys,
know
what
what
you're
you're
talking
No,
talking
that's
about.
the parties they have at frats where they dress like freak. No, I'm just kidding.
But like imagination does exist in some, at least like conceptually, right?
Yeah.
Right, like that exists at least in like a strict sense of the word.
Yeah.
So the question is, what are the ramifications of that? What is imagination? Is that, because I kind of feel like maybe it's something that it's just not here, and maybe we make it, or maybe we tap into it, and that's just not clear to me. Like that, I'm not so sure anyone's ever came up with anything. But also maybe we come up with stuff and then it just exists somewhere else.
I think tying that into music, like, and just the writing process as a whole, I took music theory in high school. And so, of course, we learned, you know, what makes objectively good music and what makes objectively bad sounding music. And that really contributed to my writing process as a whole, obviously. But I think, kind of to your point, I think imagination is just taking our observations of what we know about the world and everything around us and using it to create new things based off that baseline.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like there's no such thing as an original idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all been done before. You can combine two ideas.
Yeah. But then when you do combine two ideas, that makes it entirely.
It's a new idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess we've been going for a while, huh?
We sure have.
Sorry to keep you all so long.
No, you're good.
This has been a good
I'm having a
conversation.
great time.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have to do this again sometime. I think we still have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Sick. Man, hopefully we'll have even more music to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, we'll have more
Let's-
music to not talk
Let's
about.
do that when the new single comes out. If y'all want to come back, we'll do.
Ooh,
Oh, dope. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Point taken. Check them out. Here's out now. I'll put a link, like a link tree or whatever you guys want.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
And then what's the new single coming out? Have you announced that?
We have not yet.
We've not announced the date. It's going to be called Breathe,
Breathe.
and
Nice.
it's a cool one.
Very cool.
If you've seen us live, you've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys have any shows coming up?
Yeah. May 12th, we are playing at Crossroads in Murfreesboro.
Oh shit! I'll write that down before I forget.
We got something. I don't think we have anything else.
We got to
booked
get
yet.
more stuff booked,
Hey, if you're listening and you're in a band, you should let us open for you.
please.
Yeah.
Just please.
These guys are fucking sick. You really should.
Yeah. We like playing with people.
Any Soviet
It's better
Shiksa
than-
shows coming up?
Yep, May 18th. Well, that's a private house show, so forget I said that. And
No.
then-
Shit, that's me.
yeah, May
That's
18th.
coming up.
May 25th is we're playing at some 90s bar. I don't know the name. May 25th, Flummox and Flagman.
Daddy's
So we're
Ooh.
playing with, yeah.
Sid May's
yeah.
25th.
Wait, is that at Dark Matter?
It's at, I think it's called like 90s bar
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
Oh,
What'd you say
Sid
the
May's
date was?
25th.
May 25th.
I'm excited. to see
Oh no,
it.
I'm
Dude,
using
that-
your last name for the month. of
Yeah,
May.
those are the homies. I love them.
Yeah,
Well, we played with Flummox in Atlanta
We-
like 3
okay.
years
in
ago
a
now.
past life.
Didn't
yeah.
we try to play with them as Roto and it just never happened?
Yeah, it was just like misconnections, really. It wasn't anything on either of our ends.
Flummox, if you're watching, let's
I
make a
am-
point taken.
We're point
So,
taken.
I am so sure that the first time I saw Soviet Shiksa was probably with Flummox.
Oh, nice.
'Cause I've known Allison for years.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, it was either that or like I know I've seen y'all with Fable Cry before,
Oh, yeah. Fable Price slaps.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy how long Fable Cry has been around.
Yeah, because we
Are
played.
Still around?
Yeah, they're still
Oh,
around.
They just like
So-
kicked out half the band.
Yeah.
I told
We're still recording, Colin. Shut the fuck up.
I told him I've known Fable Cry since 2010 because I played at Loud House in Greenbrier, and they were really cool. It was what's his name,
Zach. Yeah.
Zach, and someone who had a kit that was like, as far as I can remember, it's so long now, kick drum, snare, and various pots and pans. And like I saw it, thought it was cool, and didn't think anything of it. And he was like, "Yeah, we're playing with a band called Fable Cry." I'm like, This can't be the
Yeah.
same Fable Cry I remember from a decade ago.
It is, yeah. So we played Shiksa played Festival of Ghouls on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sid, you got anything coming up?
May 2nd, I'm playing at my first Battle of the Bands, actually.
Ooh.
Heck yeah, I hope you win.
You better win.
I got a good feeling.
Awesome.
I'm gonna try and
Yeah,
You've
see.
also got the skill for it.
We've got a Shiksa rehearsal that day, so
That's where I'll
Oh, you're
actually-
playing with Winton, right?
Yeah, I'll be at their rehearsal.
We're having a battle of the
Crashing
bands
their
for rehearsal.
Dude, that is
That's
such,
the next
that's
one.
such a
Whoever
power
rehearses
move.
the best
That is such a
gets
fucking
to
power
stay
move
here.
to show up to your rehearsal and like let's duel.
yeah.
Dude, Sidney, you
No,
gotta assert your dominance, dude. I like to see it.
Thanks.
No,
Show up.
Julie.
Okay, yeah.
It's so funny.
I'm all about it.
Some saxophone. I played saxophone for like 3 months.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
Trying to remember everybody.
It's all right.
It's Witten's
We
on
got
it.
Adriel
and
coming
Bird.
to that one. New bone player.
Oh, that's good.
Garden of
He's
Eden.
filling in, but
I got a
Chris
really
might
good toss
do
there.
one.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't seen
I
this
gotta
band.
practice.
Shit.
Me
think a couple-
too.
that's
I gotta
sneaking out.
rewrite flowers.
Any other shows?
Oh, sorry.
Jeez,
Not in the
idiots.
middle of it at the moment. There might be one at the end of May, but it's not confirmed yet.
Cool. Well, Alice, we'll see you next week. Check out all these amazing, talented people, and we'll see you later.
Bye.